And now you can actually, give your presentation.
Okay, does someone want to share screen?
Yeah, I guess I could. Let me just
Mm.
get it. Let's see. It's just share. Can you guys see it?
Mhm.
Okay. Then yeah. Professor, can you see the screen?
Yes, I can see that. Thank you.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well. Yeah. So should we start?
Sure, go ahead.
So hi. So our group is talking about Photoshop and its adverse effects on mental health. And I'm Shrikant.
My name's Grisha.
Hi, and I'm Athar.
Okay, so I can start. Can you do like present mode?
Oh.
Just like present.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you. So, as a background, Photoshop opens a great opportunity for advertising, as edited images can transform a single natural human body into any shape they want. And it offers a convenient tool to modify any product into a desirable item. However, to what extent will this digital manipulation occur? Where do industries draw the line between factual and false advertising? In a research article in Pew Research Center, it indicates that US teens from the age of 13 to 17 years have access to smartphones for about like 4 to 8 hours a day, and most of their time is spent on social media. So these advertisements can have a really big impact on how they view their life, because for the majority of their day, they're witnessing all these false advertisements. So in order to make money for themselves and their companies, many people use a lot of false advertisements to influence other people, specifically teenagers, to follow a certain regimen to attain a better lifestyle. However, a lot of these products or regimens are highly unlikely to actually give the results that teenagers are hoping to achieve, as it takes more time. The company's aim is to make it look like a quick and easy routine for teenagers to do, when in reality, it might be detrimental to the teenagers' health. Our group aims to make this whole process a lot less harmful for teenagers, and starting from content filtering algorithms.
Okay, so the main problem is nowadays in Instagram or in different social medias, there are posts with photoshopped images of people with certain body modifications or any type of modifications. And so there's a study in the article, Picture Perfect Photoshop representations, that is showing a decreased views of body image in the minds of young girls who are very active on social media and that are influenced by social media. And so according to Caitlin McBride, the author of the article, people change their look by trying to make everything perfect. And basically these images makes young adults think that there are things wrong with their appearance that they should fix. And so any imperfections they see or they think is an imperfection, they want to fix that up, saying, okay, that's not, I shouldn't look like that. And again, with this mentality, there are certain exercises, and also when it comes to body image and body shape, there are certain exercises on social media that tell viewers to exercise a lot to see results fast. And so again, with this fitness regimen, and this is sometimes harmful because it's way too much effort and exercise in a very short amount of time.
Okay, so our approach is basically our aim is to help both the parties. For the people, they'll be given options like tags from which they can choose in order to block unwanted content. Whereas for influencers and advertisers, they can select tags to target the audience they want to. By this, they can increase their per view capita on.
So with regards to the development process, there's going to be two aspects to our process is there's a gathering data and there's also the actual execution of the algorithm. So as per the gathering data, we have to ask viewers and also creators questions about the posts that they like or are going to post, saying, is this a post that you would like to see, or is it, do you negatively react to it? And we also need to gather data about what posts that someone likes and what they don't like to, again, get their positive or negative reactions. And so once we gather this data using API or just normal program, so there's now the algorithm section of this process. And so we would have to use some sort of algorithm that has to do with prioritization. And so what this means is we would use the data that we've gathered to prioritize the type of post that a certain user likes over the ones that they haven't reacted with. So if there's a certain post that they like, we would put that on their feed rather than a post that they wouldn't like or a post that they haven't really been either positive or negative to. And we would also have to make sure that this algorithm makes sure that the post that a certain user didn't like or that they had a negative reaction to doesn't come onto their feed. And so in this way, we can filter the content that that shows up on someone's social media.
Okay, so last time when we submitted our project proposal, we got some feedback from the instructor. And one thing we really incorporated was the social media platforms that include sponsored posts. And this, like the social media allows all these small industries to abuse Photoshop. And the advertisement's purpose allows, uses the targeted algorithms from Facebook or Google to directly send the ad to you as sponsored posts. And by this false advertisement, it's giving a bigger audience and more targeted ads, so more people are affected. And this would lead to more like falsely, like more overall transactions and revenue for both the industry and the social media platform, but at the expense of the user itself. So we did incorporate this into our argument, as well as content filtering, like who has the power to control. We did include this where the government cannot really regulate this because it's violating the First Amendment of the right to speak. But the industry like itself, like Facebook and Google, the social media platforms have the power to regulate all this data. And so they have the power to implement these filtering algorithms in order to give the user a choice to what they view.
And so the summary of the results that we got from this was basically that some social media posts have negatively affected the minds of young people and create this harmful version of their appearance. And through that can lead to, again, drastic measures to change the way they look, again, which can also be impacted by the posts that are put on social media. And so what we learned is, since there's so much of a negative impact from social media on the minds of young teenagers, we have thought to make solutions that helps to get this idea out of the minds of younger adults, so that our results would be more that like the content is filtered and the teenagers and also people that are using social media, they don't have this negative view in their minds. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Can you go back to a earlier slide? I think it was right before development process, the slide before development process. Okay, okay, here. Yeah. I would like to state this one. So for people, there are two bullets under for people, right? They will be able to choose what they want to see. So I have two questions related to this particular bullet. Number one is, well, how do you actually expect or create a tool to help the user to do that such that they will be able to choose the right thing they really want, because there are so many things, right? They can choose from, and what kind of category you're going to provide for them to choose. Okay, so that's one part of my question, is that how we can realize this, or how we can help the user to actually make a good choice. Okay, that's my first part of the question. The second part of the question is that big company such as Google or Facebook, they are very proud about their AI technology. And they're looking at us. So they basically might be able to claim they will know what we want to see. So there are two parts. One part is that we make the user to be able to autonomously decide what they want to see. But we have to help them. Otherwise, they won't be able to make the right choice. The second part is that there are companies claiming that they probably will be able to do a better job than ourselves to select the things we want to see. Okay, so that's my question. I want three of you to think about, and how you will respond to my both questions.
We thought that basically whenever this would be like a trial and like supervised learning type of AI, where if they see a post that they don't like, they can always mark it, and that tag, like the post, will be associated with some tags that will like be less, like it'll have a negative weighting, and then it won't be able to like, they won't see that type of post again. But I do see your point where Facebook and Google think that their algorithms are already so good that it's like perfectly tailored.
Let me respond to what you just said, Grisha, that I remember, I forgot which one of you said this. It could be you, Grisha, to say your solution will help to get those things out of the mind about those teenagers, right? Especially in the case that there are certain things we want to get them out of their mind, so they will be able to see the right thing. There were certain, I forgot who said that in the last couple of slides. So my question is, how does, I mean, use an example. If somebody put a lot of false advertisement, a perfect body, and which makes some teenager believe something differently about themselves, about the outlook or whatever they should look like, or the shape or whatever. I mean, under that kind of situation, how do they actually be able to change that? Because they already saw this picture, they might already get influenced. And now they have to say, no, I don't want to see this kind of picture. How would that work? I just want you guys to explain a little bit.
Yeah, so I was thinking of basically have like a general, like multiple level filtering. So the first one would be like if an algorithm is smart enough to detect Photoshop, like compare like normal images to this altered image, or like if they can like determine any changes, then after that we can like, so this is gonna be like an external extension apart from, like they can view Facebook, and then this extension will be on top of it, because we can't probably modify Facebook source code. But yeah, so that will have like a basic level filtering, and then the user has a choice to like repeatedly add on to it to make it stronger. But it would have like, it would eliminate basic levels of excess Photoshop, and then like sensitive topics would also be gradually removed if they specify so.
Yeah. Well, let's focus our discussion on just Photoshop right now. Of course, there is other content, we can work on that. But let's just look at the Photoshop. So according to Grisha, you just said, it appeared to me in your solution, you're suggesting that the Photoshopped image will be flagged in some way about this is actually artificially created or moderated photo, and you provide some kind of warning to the people who never read it and view it. I mean, and the thing is that then you might be able to provide more information about the original photo, and so you guys are hoping that this information will help the teenager to be able to determine whether they want to see this kind of Photoshop photo in the future, right?
Right.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting.
So yeah, our premise was that if they like, because the whole point, like as of right now, is people or young teenagers, they believe that a photo on social media is truth, and then so a picture that is fake, they think it can be achievable in real life, and then so if they sort of gravitate towards that and they go towards like an impossible ideal, it's not going to be as like positive. Unless I mean they get like some sort of motivation, but it's still, you're trying to get something that's not physically like possible. And so if we mention that, okay, this is a photoshopped photo and it's just for garnering likes, and it's basically saying, okay, it's not it's okay if if you're not like this photoshopped photo. If we just tell them and make sure that they are in the know of like what this image actually is and it's not real, then they'll be more accepting of themselves rather than accepting of what false ideals this photoshopped image is trying to convey. I think
that's a good idea. I think I think it's good that it create. I mean, when I first heard about this, my worry is that Facebook is going to losing a lot of advertisement revenue because advertisers say, wait a minute, you're going to reveal the truth about the advertisement image media we try to provide. But then I thought about that. It's a healthy image for a company like Facebook, number one, if they want to do this kind of thing. And number two, it actually gives push to those companies who actually provide real advertisement. I mean, if you want the advertisement, give something real, right? Because then you will not have this kind of issue. So this actually make advertisement company more credible about the product they want to introduce, which I think it might be a healthy situation for the advertiser as well. So I feel that this is a very good idea, excellent idea that if we can push the industry to gradually adapt this kind of thing. And the third thing, which is interesting about this approach, is I asked earlier, I said, how do we argue that the Facebook can, their AI algorithm can figure out what we like, what we don't like? But this image, the compare the Photoshop image and the original image, those are the things I have never seen before in this kind of contrast. So if you realize when the AI algorithms are learning whether I like this image or not, they usually give me one. Say I saw this picture, whether I like it, I like to click it or not. But this is actually interesting because I got exposed to 2 or more images at the same time. And then I'm going to decide whether I like the particular one that's being moderated, being photoshopped. So that is actually a different kind of AI problem, in fact, because I'm actually looking at multiple input to decide on one. And I might be able to train on this kind of thing, but the data collection for this process will be both take a long time, and also it will be fairly valuable, very valuable for this kind of input. I don't know if you know that company like Google or Facebook, they actually pick our signal even on the speed we roll the phone, the screen on the phone. So to see if we saw something that we like. But that is actually a low entropy feedback information about whether we actually see some feature that's attracting us. But the image we're talking about is actually you're seeing at least two images. One is the original, one is the new one. And that actually require my thoughts a little bit deeper to decide whether I like the photo or not, based on I look at the other photo. And I cannot do that very fast. But because of that, the information entropy that this two photo introduced to me is much more valuable than other source of information. And I think that is also very interesting. Yeah, okay. Okay, now I want to talk about the other 2 points you hear for the influencer and the advertiser. For influencer and advertiser, you said you can select text to select the audience they want to target, right? Okay, you might want to clarify this a little bit more, because anybody who look at the sentence the first glance without reading your paper, it sounds like a Cambridge Analytica.
Yeah, I guess I could clarify. So
Sure.
basically, in terms of like influencers and advertisers, they can select like, oh, if we're focusing on beauty products like makeup, then they can, they basically can create their own tag saying, oh, we want to send advertisements to people who are interested in beauty. And then the users who want to like purchase beauty products would like click on them, and they would get the posts from those influencers and advertisers. And so in this way, we decided to like make some sort of like separate feed for people who are interested in beauty, sports, exercise, etc., so that people don't have to be forced into seeing, oh, we need to do this kind of makeup, we need to buy this kind of diet, etc. So that's what we were thinking of.
So let me clarify my question, and please respond what you think, how your solution addressed the issue. So let's roll back to 2016 election. And we have people supporting Hillary Clinton. So in their tag, they will say Clinton. And we had people supporting Trump. Their tag, it says Trump. So they're hoping that I will get content about Trump, or versus I want to get the content about Clinton. And so we actually put the tags voluntarily as each of the user. If we say we have this tag, okay, that the user, the people select. But now Cambridge Analytica decide, oh, I'm going to send this type of content to the people who has tag Clinton. And we want to send the other set of article to the candidate who has the tag, say Trump. So that's essentially what Cambridge Analytica is doing in a small scale. But they're building the psychological machine and try to see different type of people, how they are reacting to different kind of content, right? I mean, what do you see about this related to that scenario?
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about the political aspect of it. I was just thinking of like the transactional and how to gain more revenue and how to protect mental health. But
oh,
yeah.
By the way, mental health is a big issue in 2016 election as well.
But I do believe that political propaganda should not be included, because I was reading a research article actually regarding this and how like it's not, the government cannot remove all these advertisements and propaganda, but it's up to the industry and the social media platform itself to like regulate content like that. And obviously Cambridge Analytica is like taking their own interpretation of regulating content. But I do believe that political like biases are like kind of a touchy subject, because you don't know who, like all this like partial information is kind of not good. So I guess if anyone does a political tag and we're able to flag it, we have to like make sure they're getting equal amounts of information from both sides, because that's pretty important. But
Okay.
we have to like differentiate the importance of tags, I believe.
Yeah. So let me share with you my general concern about the first bullet under the influencer, for influencer and advertiser, because essentially what you suggest at a higher level, not necessarily really about what you want to do, but just higher level when look at the text. It looks like that the people give out indication about what kind of things I like to receive. And then advertisement can actually decide how they're going to distribute a particular advertisement. For example, I have a two tag. One tag is say, I like Photoshop. The other tag says, I like original photo. I don't like Photoshop, right? So essentially, I actually will be targeted at the people who has a Photoshop. I will target it with a Photoshop advertisement. And then the people who like that, I'm actually going to send the original one. So I have a two different versions of the advertisement. I will make my advertisement more precise based on the tag I know. I mean, it seems to me that's what indicate by the proposed solution. Do you think that's okay?
Okay, so I'm a little bit okay. So with your general concern, you're saying if you both select I am not interested in Photoshop and I am interested in Photoshop, is it like an issue that I'll be targeted by both types of advertisements? Is that
Yes, I because when you, okay, here, let me tell you that what's my concern about the whole thing. We have a three different party here. One is the user, one is the social media, one is the advertiser. So advertisers are using the social media platform to deliver the content to the user, right? That's their contract between the social media and the advertiser. So depending on how you actually promote your product, you actually be able to get the value back, right? I mean, that's the advertisement business is doing. So my concern here is very simple, is that it's okay for the people to tell the social media what kind of advertisement I don't like, what kind of Photoshop I don't like, what kind of political leaning I don't like. But it's not okay for that kind of information be passed on or to be utilized by the advertiser. So we basically saying that we have the advertisement advertiser. Here is some kind of tagging we're going to do in terms of blocking some of your advertisement delivery. You can guess how many of them are one way, how many of them the other way. But you actually have to try your best, because the system has to push the advertisement, try to send a good amount of information based on the original social algorithm, not with the extra help. Because if you don't have that, then essentially you're giving the advertisement company, means the advertiser, more information about the landscape, about the social media user, is such that they can do precision targeting advertisement, which might not be a good idea for the customer. Let me give you an example. you say that some of the teenage, especially teenage girl, will actually have a mental health issue when they receive certain picture, right? So, but the thing is that not all the girl will actually respond, says, no, I don't want to see this kind of picture. In fact, a lot of them probably already feel okay. They already got brainwashed from other channel, is already get used to that, and they will probably say yes, or they will not say no. And guess what? Those people will be highly vulnerable because we know they're already, we know or we might not know, but they already have that imprint in their mind. And now we're letting the advertisement company to actually send only to them. Essentially, I suppose to send 100% audience. Now I know 99% will not like it. So I'm going to target at that 1% because that's the percentage I'm going to try to get my profit out of that. So I'm actually more worried about that in terms of the second point. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I do agree with that, but I think like what we mentioned earlier, the basic flag of just like highlighting Photoshop, like even though they're brainwashed, I feel like it's still important for them to like understand that this photo has been photoshopped, and then the tags go beyond that. So they can choose to see Photoshop, but it will also be flagged, so they won't like continue to be brainwashed.
Yeah, I think going off of that, I think the main issue is they might be brainwashed, yes, but if we still like, I mean, if they like that kind of content, that's fine, but it's up to us to like, or up to the program or algorithm to tell them that the thing that they're looking at is not like fully real. So then they sort of, they can sort of realize that, okay, this is not actually real, that all this stuff, like all of these other advertisements, some of them, like they're still technically using Photoshop. So then, I mean, if they continue to use it, then they'll definitely know that they might still like look at it and they still might like the post and everything. But if they just know that it is Photoshop, then they'll be, I guess, less brainwashed because they'll like slowly come back to like having full like knowledge about what type of posts are being put on Instagram. So they're like they're less oblivious to what types of like negative impacts that some of these social media posts are
so I guess my only objection to this slide, okay, everything else I feel this is a great idea. I really like this idea, but my only objection to the whole thing is that this bullet, when you say they can select text to select the audience they want to target. So let me tell you that if I actually use a view of utilitarianism, I will agree with this point. If I'm looking at utilitarianism, I would say, hey, everybody's happy. Those people, you want to have this, fine, you get it. And advertiser is so nice because they actually get their per view capital earned because they targeted at the right person, and those people doesn't want to see it. So everybody is happy if we look at utilitarianism. But if I look at deontology, then I start to view there is a unfairness in this scenario. So the unfairness is that if you think about this 100% of people, 99% says, I don't want it. But that 1% say they want it. And that 1% potentially will be targeted by the influencer. So let me actually tell you that why I think this is unfair. Because if you think about customer, 100 customer, 99% of a customer says they don't like it. And none of those actually make any pressure to the company who produce those advertisers. So essentially, the customer become passive. What do I mean by passive is I can only say, hey, don't send me this junk to me anymore. And the rest of them, they said, okay, fine, you can keep sending me the stuff you want to send me. So the thing is, there is no pressure push back to the to the advertisement or the company they represent. But think about, so I'm worried about this customer. They can do only say accept, not accept, but they cannot fight back. But if you look at the advertisement company, they actually have all the driver, they're in the driver's seat. They actually got the information. They know 99% I don't have to waste my time, and I only want to focus on 1%. And they can use that information. If the things they send out to the customer is a good information, then this is good. But this, unfortunately, that we know the whole thing motivate us to do is actually the issue about some of the concern. And the thing is that in this, I see unfair situation because advertisement can always decide what's their strategy heading toward the customer, and yet customer is actually passive receiving. So that's my worry when I look at the ontology. I see a unbalance in terms of the power and authority in this case here. Yeah, I know this is controversial. If we talk about utilitarianism, it's actually really good. But if I talk about the ontology, I actually think that this is extremely controversial. It could be I mean, by the way, your solution. Oh, what happened to your slide?
Oh, sorry.
No problem. It's probably
Please
need the power.
computer.
Yeah.
Oh no.
That's okay. It's on.
His battery died. Yeah.
Yeah, he hit probably battery. He forgot to do that. So let me actually just continue. I think the first two bullets about how we can do for the customer, I think those are extremely valuable. But the next two, when we actually think about advertisement, we need to think about what is the best to allow the advertising company to know about, to actually what information they will be able to get in. I mean, in some sense, if we have a good number of people who actually doesn't like the advertisement, it's a signal for our society about whether certain kind of advertisement is appropriate or not. I mean, this is something we call collaborative filtering. The collaborative filtering, the concept, or filter bubble in another case. So filter bubble usually it's a kind of negative, but in this case, filter bubble might be a good thing to help to defend some of the information. I'm not talking about any information. I'm talking about information that's being artificially altered to boost some of these sales. If a company, think about this, if a company need to alter an image into something which to boost their sale, there's already some untruthfulness in the advertisement potentially. And if the signal provided by the user saying that might be the case, then the advertisement itself should be questionable. Yeah, so that's my comment. Hey, will Shriran come back? She can't, right?
Yeah,
We lost Shrikant.
yeah, he has to charge his battery. Oh, there he is.
Yeah,
Let's go.
yeah. He's connecting the audio.
Hi, sorry, Professor. My laptop died, so I had to come back on my phone.
No problem. I mean, while you're gone, we make a lot of progress. We already discussed all the things. So basically, we decide you're going to do all the work. So we're going to take summer vacation. Shrikant, you're going to finish everything. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's what I describe is just a opinion. just opinion, depending on how you look at the whole thing. By the way, Shrikant, you might miss some of the things I said, but you can always watch the video. It's recorded. It's a great. I like your work. It's not just about you're doing something extremely important, but also you raised, especially here on this slide, the influencer and the advertiser. You raised some issue that's actually very important for us to think. For whoever designed the next generation social algorithms, going to make money for the advertiser or influencer for political reason or for whatever reason. And I think this is a very, very interesting social science issue that we need to think a little bit more before we actually push out the solution. Okay. All right. So I don't have any more questions, and except I hope that Shrikant, your battery or whatever your laptop will be doing okay after this.
Thank you. Yeah, I just put it to charge.
Yeah. Okay. So any question for me?
Yeah, I just had two questions. One, I just wanted to confirm that you had our final project report, right?
Yes, I do. I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And this not regarding this